The reason I'm presenting these information sessions is because we're getting a lot of emails. I think since our gala and since we were written up in Star Ledger, it's probably almost 400 emails from people inquiring and wanting to know more. And it was impossible for me to just keep emailing people and talking to them on the phone one-on-one. So I said, you know what, I'll just keep doing the information sessions. That way in a big group we can be able to get all the information out there, answer as many questions as possible so that you're informed. Because a lot of people are hearing about Fill a Need, not really understanding what it's about, what it's going to do, if it's already a program that's built, or it's something that's in the process, or what the situation is. So tonight I want to explain to you, this Fill a Need Foundation was formed because I have a son with autism. I have a son that has disabilities, he is nonverbal, and I'm concerned about his future, as everybody that's emailing me and everyone in this room. It doesn't matter what the diagnosis or what the disability is, we are concerned about our children, what happens to them when they become adults, when they graduate high school. There are some programs out there. It's not enough. There's no way the programs that are running and that are successful can handle the amount of individuals that need programs. We all know that. This has been told to me for years, and I'm sure everyone that has someone in your family with disabilities know that that's what's being said. So we're trying to make a big impact. We really are saying, how do we, when I first started thinking about what kind of program, I wanted to say, well, how can we help as many as possible? It's not a matter of just my son. It's not just about my son. It's hundreds and thousands of individuals that have already graduated, that are about to graduate, and that may be 8 years old and somewhere within 10 years will be graduating. So programs that will be able to help as many as possible, that will be able to grow and expand, that will be able to be a model to be able to be built in other towns or other states. Because it's not just New Jersey that needs help, it's every community across the nation is devastated in what's happening with the world's special needs. So try to think of something that was off the charts, wonderful, perfect, everybody would want, would fit the needs of everyone, and it sounds like a fairy tale, but it is possible. Every individual with special needs is completely different, and we know that. Even autism alone, there are no two kids that have the same diagnosis or the same areas that they need help with. So in order for them to go into a program that fits their needs, they should be individually looked at. They should have a program that individually fits them. They should have a program that continues the way that the program functioned in high school for them, or maybe even better. We know that when they graduate high school, just because they graduate doesn't mean they don't still require therapy. Speech therapy, OT, PT. We all know that if they don't get it, it's not going to be a good outcome. They will start losing their skills that they've tried so hard to accumulate in 18 years or 21 years. So we need to continue with therapy. We need to be able to offer them the proper support. It doesn't make sense for someone that needs one-on-one that's put in a group of 4 or 5 kids, and there's one individual trying to handle that, and we all know the outcome. It's not what we want. We need to know that they have proper support, they're getting the therapy they need, that they're in an environment that's going to offer them choices. It doesn't make sense that they don't get choices in life just because of their disabilities. Some of them may not know what their choices are, or may not be able to express what their choices what choices they want in life. So again, this is another aspect of this program. How do we let these individuals come in and say, let's do a year of providing them different classes in different vocational areas so we can kind of watch them and see where, oh, it looks like they're really catching on to this skill. They look happy in this environment, in this room, in this classroom. And then we can build their program on and guide and follow them, and they'll show us what direction they want to do, what kind of skills and passions that are in them. And then we can build on that, along with their day of continuing with therapy. So this is a very, very intricate program. It's very expensive to design and build, and it needs to be large. We can't do it on a small scale, because how do you offer a lot of different choices to individuals and you only have a program for 20 individuals? Well, it costs money. Every single program that we build will have a professional teaching that program. So in order to come up with the salaries or the budget to operate on giving all of these departments professionals teaching these vocational skills, the amount of students in the campus got bigger, which is okay. We just means we hire more staff for support. There are 250 spots and 100 shadows, or guardians is what we're calling them. So what we looked at is not every individual that graduates high school with disabilities needs one-on-one. Some of them are capable of small group ratio. Some of them are even capable of larger group ratio, and maybe a 6-to-1 ratio, but they just can't get through college. They just can't get through a program of training because they still kind of need that support, and they can't just get a job in the community because they still need the training. And so we're trying to offer across the board 4 different divisions for individuals, whether it's one-on-one with extra assistance, which could mean CP, could mean they're in a wheelchair and they're limited physically, but yet they're capable of learning a skill. I, for one, know of a wonderful man that has CP and is a wheelchair, and he works full-time in a hospital delivering packages. He's happy, he's phenomenal, he's stimulated all day. So we know we can get individuals to where their potential is. But then there's also in between individuals that are one-on-one, but they're capable of learning a skill, but they definitely need one-on-one throughout their day. It could be for a year, it could be 8 years, it could be for life. We want to make sure we give them the proper support. And then it goes down to a 3-to-1 ratio, and then the 4th division is the 6-to-1 ratio. The program itself, I'll talk about how we're going to actually fund this. I know it's a good question. I know it's the question in order for you guys to understand and believe that this project is possible. We also want to make sure that within the program of getting their therapy, any individual that wants to continue with their education, meaning college, there's a computer lab that will have the proper support, and individuals will be able to get college credits online with proper support in that room on the campus. Now, some individuals are able to graduate high school and they really, really want to get a college degree. Depends on what their level of, or the level of potential is. And they can't get through college, they can't sit in the classes, they need support, they need more guidance, but yet we're going to be able to help them get their degrees. And it might be even working with a community college on getting them to classes for some of the day, but yet the rest of their day, they can come back to the campus, or be within the campus, getting their proper therapies, working on skill training on whatever their program has been built on. So they could be taking classes community college within their the computer lab, but then they're going to be spending a few hours throughout the week working in the greenhouses, or they're working in the learning kitchen, and then throughout their week also they'll be getting their therapy. Every individual will have a set up schedule like a community college. Typical children goes to a community college and they say, this is the skill I want to learn, or this is the major I want to choose, and then they have to choose, this is what you have to obtain to be able to graduate with that degree. So now fill out your schedule, fill out your semester of classes, and that's their individual, and they go to these classes based on their individual schedule. It's exactly the same kind of setup we're going to design for these individuals. They will have their own schedule for the semester that's based on their needs, their passions, where they need to go, their support, and where they want to end up. There are some individuals that will eventually be students when we build the Hamlet that will be able to graduate and move out into the community and be successful and independent in the community. So that's wonderful, and we pray and hope to get more than we think of independent in the community. There are some that will never be able to get into the community, and that's okay. We want this campus to be open for life. If they need to be there, or their parents choose that this is the environment they want them to stay in through life, then it's the option. They do not have to graduate. This is not set like you're here for 4 years, then you have to go. No, if you need to be there for life and get the proper support and stimulated throughout your day, that's what the Hamlet is trying to present. So now going back to, it sounds like a wonderful program. It sounds like fairy tale. It really does. It sounds like what every parent would really, really want for their individual adult or child with special needs. we have to know that I've heard this, going to different schools, trying to find the right program for my son, trying to get therapy for him, and I've heard people say to me, well, is he going to be successful in this program? That's what we want. Ideally, there are individuals that would not be able to, we hope every individual will be able to handle the way we set up this campus. But we know that that's not possible, because there are some individuals that would not be able to handle the transition that takes place throughout the campus. We don't know until they're evaluated to see what makes sense for them. We don't want to make an individual's day difficult, stressful, full of anxiety. That's not what we want, but we have to try. If they haven't been put in that environment before, you don't know whether or not they can do it. So you have to take the chances and try. If we find that it doesn't work for them, we honestly want what's best for every individual that comes into the campus. So there's going to be a lot of communication between the parents and the director or the staff that's working at the Hamlet. We want open communication so everybody's doing the right thing for these individuals. From some of you that came in late, this program has not been built yet. This is something that is in the works. We're getting a lot of eyes and ears on us. It's because of we're getting eyes and ears in different directions. The way we design the campus is it's a green campus. So we're getting a lot of eyes and ears from the environmentalists out there saying, what are you doing? What's this 10-acre green campus we're hearing about? Well, this is what it is. And then we're also getting, a lot of supporters and financial supporters or sponsors are hearing wind about this campus, because the way it's structured is after a couple of years of it up and running, it will in turn, and we have professionals working these numbers and proving to us, it will be financially self-sustaining. You don't need outside funding to keep it operating. We're hoping and aiming for free tuition. We're not sure if we can get there yet, but that's what we're hoping and aiming for. I know a big question is, how much does it cost for my son or daughter to go here? We don't know. I'm hoping and working as hard as we can to make it free. If anything, it might be a small few $1,000s. We're not sure what that number is going to be. Every individual coming in will have different services. So there's levels of how much it costs Phil and Eve to educate that one individual versus that individual. So there's so many different levels we have to look at. But as far as even taking that small amount of money that we're thinking we might have to implement for tuition fees, this will be self-sustaining financially. And there are many, many ways that I can talk to you about that, but the bottom line is, because there are professionals in every department and there's the proper support. So for my son who's nonverbal, if he went into the learning kitchen and he's with his proper support, and there's a chef and an assistant, and there's 12 other kids in that class with their proper support, they're making apple pies. You have 12 apple pies, but that's one class. So you have several classes of the day that room is operating on that level. So at the end of the day, you might have 50 apple pies that are delicious apple pies, and they're sellable. So now we implement how we make it, bridge the gap into the community, pull the community in, and help make this financially self-sustaining for the students. Those apple pies are going into the front of the campus that you can see on the backboard, and also, you know what, I mean, I don't think I took it with me. But here, I'll just show you. This is the plaza that's open to the general public. This is the academy. These elements that you see here in green are the greenhouses. In the very back is the horse stables, and for only 5 horses, but in order for grazing as well. The rest of it is parking, which takes up a lot. Believe me, it takes up almost as much as of the floor footage, buildable floor area for the buildings. Parking takes up as much as that. So there's one reason why it's as big as it is. It's really simple construction. It really is not as big, it's not big, huge buildings. They're small in scale, but the parking takes up so much space that we have to go forward on a lot of acreage in order to be able to have the proper parking. And also the greenhouses, produce garden, and also for nursery for flowers and plants. The reason we're doing greenhouses is because then you can farm all year. There have a lot of greenhouses that I've been doing research on that have been successful, working full year for produce and for flowers and plants. So taking their knowledge and their advice on how to structure these greenhouses with the engineers that are for green technology and how to implement the green elements that work with the greenhouses, and pulling all of the technology into the whole campus. So there's a lot of professionals working to make sure that this runs as best as possible. So that's how it's financially self-sustaining, because those students, 250 students, are stimulated, being creative, and working in a passion or an area that they feel comfortable, which we all know when they're happy and comfortable, you're going to get a lot more out of them. You're going to be able to reach in and find out what they're capable of and bring their potential a lot higher. If the environment makes them feel good and proud about themselves, and that you're going to find directions on where they're capable. I don't even know what my son's going to be in life, but I know he's going to be more than today's society thinks he can be. And that's not, I'm just trying to say that we need to show the community that there are a lot of capabilities in these individuals. And we need to open the doors and let them lead the way, but give them the proper support and environment. And that's all Philonie is trying to do. This campus it'll cost about $15 million to build this campus. I can tell you that we have construction, manufacturing companies, and distributors and contractors that together, Philonie would pay $0 to build the first campus. All they're saying to me is find the land. So that's our big fight. Once it's up and running, and this is not even talking about sponsors that we're trying to get, and sponsors that we're speaking to and presenting to. So we know we can build this. We know that there are enough people out there that want it built. We know that it has to be built. You know, there are a lot of successful programs for adults with special needs out there, and I'm researching that across the nation. There's so many wonderful, wonderful programs that are successful, that their up and running programs don't even tickle the problem. So we're not saying this is better than anything out there. We're saying we need more. We need more and more and more and more. Everyone should keep building the programs that are successful. It's important. There's an amazing Rose Farm in Connecticut. There's an incredible, in South Carolina, there's an incredible program that helps all special needs. They're actually warehouses, and they come and they're crafty with making things, sellable crafts and picture frames and all those kind of things. And then they bring them, they have to drive them to local stores where they're selling them for them. So then they're getting finances back to the program. There are successful programs that are doing what we're saying we can do, but this is just on a bigger level. And also we're trying to bring all those successful programs that are out there. There's a bakery that's self-sustaining. It's run by adults with autism, and they sell amazing baked goods, and then they're financially self-sustaining. That's in New Jersey. So there's so many really, really wonderful, successful programs. And what we're trying to say is, take all those successful ones and bring it into one campus so that these individuals can all be offered more choices. What if my son doesn't want to work in a bakery, but that is a successful program? What if he doesn't want to work in a warehouse making picture frames, but yet that's a successful program? But if he's in an environment where he can actually look at all the different things that are offered to him that we know were successful out there in the nation, that we'll be able to help a lot more individuals. So, I'm not sure right now, there's a lot going on. I've met with 4 different zoning officials. The biggest issue, ladies and gentlemen, is zoning. Because it's a large campus and it's multi-zoned, it's very difficult to find a piece of land. It's very difficult for zoning officials or planning boards to understand, yeah, we'll just change the zoning on that piece of land, no problem. No, there is a problem. There's a huge problem. If we found a 15, 20 acre commercial lot, we'd be all set. Well, we can't find it in the proper location that's going to make sense for this campus. We only started looking. Philonie has not been up and running that long, and since November, we've spoken heavily with 4 different towns. But what's great about the individuals we're speaking to is they say, you know what, you need to speak with so-and-so here or so. So they're trying to send us in directions that they think, and it's getting everybody's wheels turning, because all these other individuals we're talking to in building departments, mayors of different towns, zoning, they're giving me great advice, and they really are saying, wow, this is great, we need this, we really should get this built. you know, there's nowhere here in our town that I can think of to put it, but yet you should talk to so-and-so in this town. So we just keep going and going and going. Eventually, something will hit. And we're trying desperately to get the governor's office involved, because we think sometimes it just takes a little heat from the governor's office to, on a town that we find a piece of land, but yet there's an issue maybe with zoning. So we're hoping within this year we'll be able to find the land. And we have a lot of different construction companies out there that are on board 110%. They have their foot on the pedal as soon as we get the green light. Whether it's this year or next year, they don't care. They love the project. So I'm going to now start answering questions.
Sure.
Sure, go ahead.
No residential, right?
Right now, there's no residential. Residential is definitely a concern of everybody. There are residential programs that are being built out there, and so the pressure's not on residential as heavy as it is a day program. They'll graduate high school and leave high school. So there's more heavy pressure on that program than residential. Residential is very tricky. With the federal government, if you have more than 6 individuals, it's considered an institution. So they actually years ago put a freeze on any institutions being built or constructed. That was lifted a couple years ago, but still there's a lot of red tape going forward to build a residential housing over 6 individuals.
I wasn't really asking because I'm just saying that you have 250 students that have to get there
Right.
and get home, so they're
Right.
going to be living.
Well, ideally, what we hope is the first one gets built, and then the communities understand how important this is, because we could build this here in, say, Warren, and between Warren, Basking Ridge, Bridgewater, it would be filled before it's built. So, okay, so then we need one the idea is to build several campuses, not one. And to be able to have a radius around that campus, so that it doesn't make sense for individuals driving an hour, 2 hours to get to a day program. It doesn't make sense. We don't want them in a car for 2 or 4 hours a day.
Right, and that's why I'm saying it's very important that this is located near it.
Right. We do have residential in the back burner. It may not be on campus, it may be close by campus, it may be on campus. I don't know what that looks like yet. There's a lot of research that has to go into residential, a tremendous amount. What we would like to implement residential in the future, to say, if you have a percentage of individuals that are always going to be students, then we need housing for them. The way this program is structured, and I don't know if there's anyone in this room that has a higher functioning adult, or if there's an adult that they know will be able to get through college but can't, and we're going to help them do that. What you want for them in this world is to be able to get them independent in a job in the community, and also independent in an apartment or housing in the community. So with that said, we definitely have 2 different residential programs that we're thinking about. One of which will be for the campus students that need housing close by. And the other is a training program to teach them how to live with a roommate and oversee that for so many years or so much time in an apartment, and have 2 different individuals that are capable of handling one aspect of living in an apartment with a roommate and the other aspect. So together, they are able to live together. You know, for one, and I'm going to say this as a mom, and for how I feel about my son. I don't want my son in an apartment living by himself. That's not really great, really wonderful for him. I would rather him have a roommate. And it could be someone that has a complete different diagnosis than him, or someone that's much, their capabilities or skills are completely different than his. But we have to try to find a match for my son so that he's with a buddy. And he has a life person that he can watch a movie with or eat dinner with at night. Or it's for any individual out there. So there are 2 different kind of programs that we're looking at. One is an actual facility that they have their own rooms, and there's a cafeteria, and there's a room for them to be social in, and typical of what you're seeing in residential programs for adults with special needs. It's overseen by professionals with the proper support throughout the night, and then they're stimulated through their day and their campus and their day program. That's one aspect of the residential, but we have to think about that other aspect. So those individuals that we have to try to see, are they able to live in an apartment with another individual, and see if we can train them together doing that and be able to get them independent, more independent in the community. So you don't need housing for 250 adults. The way the program is set up, there are adults that will leave the program because they will learn their skill and in an independent fashion, and we will be able to transition them into a job in the community without a shadow. I don't know what the percent of those individuals are. Maybe it's going to be 5 out of 250. Maybe it'll be 30 adults out of the 250. I don't know. We do not need housing for 250 adults.
No.
So, but we definitely want to implement the need of housing. But there's 2 different needs. We want to make sure we cover that.
All right. Just, I see your plan. What would be the dimensions? How much room would the training area have?
What you see right here is about 8.5 acres. What you're seeing here, it doesn't necessarily always mean that what you're seeing is this campus. And no, it's hard for people to visualize anything but what they're seeing, but it's breathable. If we might find a lot that can't accommodate a rectangle campus. We might find a lot that's hilly, that has wetlands, and we have to rethink the way this is laid out. What we're trying to say is there will always be a plaza, there will always be an academy, there will always be the parking. So now we look at the land we got, we look at, is this building have to be larger because most individuals are going to be actually in the academy building most of their day? Yes, so now we can expand it. We're not looking for 10 acres of land, we're looking for a lot more acres of land so that we know, once we know the land and we know what is needed to implement as far as support and how many individuals are on the campus at one given time, then we know how to lay out the campus, and whether each building gets larger, smaller, we don't know. So, but we do know the components. That's what's crucial. We know there's an academy, we know there's a plaza, we know there's a horse farm, we know there's open acres. Those are the components of this campus. Like a puzzle, we are going to have to refigure based on the land and based on the information that comes forward once we know the individuals in that area. Now, we don't want to say 250 adults. We want to be able to help everyone, and that's why I'm trying to make this campus be able to be built in other areas of Jersey or other areas of the nation. But in order for this to function, it's laid out in divisions. There are 4 divisions, and every division has so many slots. So I know I will only have so many individuals with a one-on-one. I know I will have so many individuals that are 6-to-1 ratio. There are so many slots in each division. So as people come and say, I want to sign up, well, you're first in line, let's evaluate your son or daughter, this is where it is, they really should be in Division 3. That's a spot in Division 3 taken. Second person comes, we're in Division 1, you're in Division 1. Once those divisions are full, then that division gets a waiting list. You and I know that 250 spots are going to go like this. Like I said, the programs that are out there today don't even tickle the problem. We know that, and we know, everybody knows, autism alone takes up a huge percentage, and what's coming. You know, Autism Speaks talks about this list that they have of children between 8 and 18, and the last I heard is there's almost 600, over 600,000 kids in the United States that within 10 years will graduate. We're not even talking about the millions that have already graduated. So we have to be able to help. And remember, those 600,000 children with autism alone are different. Some will need one-on-one, some will need 6-to-1, some will be able to even the computer lab most of the day and getting a college degree in 4 years. We have to help all of them. And the only way to do that is to have limits on how many come in. Otherwise, this thing would be for 1 million kids. So we can't do it, but we can build another campus that makes sense in that area. So less people are traveling, so more people are being given programs and being able to be stimulated directly out of high school. There are so many open ends to how this is built, but the fact of that I have major voices in this community, in the nation, that have come and say this is amazing. They see the inside pieces not visually, this is the campus. We're really, really trying to present the vision, the components of the campus, the function of the campus, and that's what's going to make it successful. Architecturally speaking, you can change anything. You can add any building, you can go up, you can do whatever you need to do to make more space if you get the proper piece of land. Yes. And that's what, like I said, is the biggest fight right now.
Not to be concrete, but, and I may have missed something, but I guess my first question is, where's the funding going to come from? Buy the land, create, build the buildings, and then the second question is, how are the services going to be funded when the individuals who go to the kids?
We did a lot of research on restaurants that are successful, on flower shops that are successful, on bakeries that are successful, and based on their financial operation costs, and based on what it costs to operate this on salaries and the operation of the whole campus. So we're all those numbers were run, and we can prove if the community supports this plaza, we can prove that the profit made by the restaurants, the bakery, the flower shop, and the open acres. The open acres is specific to the community. We're going to say in our open acres, that's beautiful, on Easter, we as the Hamlet staff and students are going to go out there and build you a beautiful Easter egg hunt for the community. You come and bring your little kids, you pay a small fee, and the kids have a great day in the Easter egg. Halloween, the staff and the community, like there's also a shop for props, scenes and props and sets to be able to put little shows on and stuff, or people can come rent our area that we're doing plays, or there's so many ways to make money. They're really, it's endless. But we can, in Halloween, we'll build a little haunted house so the community can come. They can say, hey, let's go to the haunted house, then we'll get to bite to eat in the restaurant. Or in the summertime, we're implementing a drive-in movie theater that's family-oriented, that's safe, that's secure in a closed environment, so we're not worried. So you can bring your special need kids to this drive-in movie theater, and so they can make a family day out of it. They can go to dinner and then go to the drive-in movie theater, and get a small bite to eat in the bakery when they're done. Whatever it is, all year long, the open acres will be bringing in profit. We'll sell Christmas trees. In the wintertime, we'll have an ice skating rink. We'll turn the whole lot into an ice skating rink, open to the community. So it's ongoing, and that's full profit. So with that, we know that we can financially say these components of the campus bring in enough profit to offset the cost of running that academy.
Right.
Will there be any effort to integrate the services that are considered to be day program services with those that are approved, say, through the Department of Disabilities, to supplement the cost? And that's a lot of revenue, generate a lot of revenue for the expenditures for staff, especially when you start talking about one-to-one, one-to-two ratios. So will there be in addition to not having enough adequate resources, not having the access to the financial resources to get your loved one services is obviously key for a lot of families.
Yes.
So, will there be an effort to take those professional staff and have that approved program through New Jersey?
Wouldn't that be ideal? Wouldn't it be amazing if the government actually said, this is great and here's your money? We're going to start being independent so that we know we can't fold. We will absolutely register and work with the DDD to say these are the students, these are the services, and do whatever we have to do so that money comes in. Absolutely. We will be applying to any grant, any government, federal grants that are out there specific to these kind of programs. We will be also fundraising every year, but it's very difficult. The way the DDD works is, and I know that they're changing everything this year. I know that they're doing that, but the way it works is pretty much if you have a program for your individual to go to, your child to go to, they go to the program, it's registered with the DDD, then the DDD says this adult is allotted so much money for this service, so that service, and then we're registered with them saying they're receiving this service here, okay great, there's the money for that service for that individual, and it's based on hourly. I know that they're not saying here's a yearly amount of money to help that individual, that's not how they're working, it's hourly, so it's every week. I think you have to, almost like a timesheet for each individual has to be presented to the DDD trying to say? That it's given to the DV for them to say, okay, and then at some point in time, the money will come back. Yes, we plan on doing that. Do we want to say, oh, it'll happen and we need to implement that so we know that, you know, financially, so we know those numbers are in there? We cannot count on that. We don't know if it's going to happen and when. So it would be great if it does. The way also, just to let you know, the way the financial situation is set up, Filliney Foundation is a nonprofit, and it is responsible financially for the Hamlet campus. And it's always responsible. If the Hamlet campus is not making enough profit to financially self-sustain, which could happen if the community doesn't support what the components we're implementing, Filliney is responsible. So we will constantly be fundraising, constantly be reaching out to supporters. So other funds will come in, so we have backup to be able to make sure the campus is supported. Anyone else have a question?
I'm sorry, I know I came late, so I may have missed something.
It's okay.
How much do you think it's going to cost to actually just build?
15 million.
And then plus, you have to staff and everything else.
Yeah, that's just the building of the structure, and then the operating cost is very different from that. So we have it all figured out on what the staff we need based on very general, you know, today's salary scale. We were able to implement, okay, this is what, you know, a chef makes. This is what a nurse makes. We have to have a nurse on staff. We have to have a, you know, facilities maintenance person
What about
on
a
staff. Security guards. We have to have, so we tried to think of every single individual we need to have a salary for, and what would that salary look like based on what people are getting paid in this area today. And we calculated all that, so we know what our salary is. We know I'm working with the engineers for the green technology to say, all right, how much is it going to cost to operate this size campus the first year, and the second year, and the third year, because every year when you have a green campus, every year you go toward the savings. And after so many years, he said you could be up to a 60% savings based on a typical structured environment, which will also help with the overall cost of running this campus. If your operating cost, because of the campus being green, is going down and down and down, but you're still making the money that you're making to spend, you're not going to have a problem with financially self-sustaining, because your operating cost is getting lower.
Just to follow up, I guess I'm just a little concerned about, you know, kind of building this out to really be able to answer the needs of multiple tens of thousands, just in this state that might be, and I mean, hundreds of millions of dollars.
This campus is only built for 250 students.
Right, so
That's why we're trying to prove to every community that every community needs one. Every county needs a campus, if not more. Every state needs a campus.
So what would the goal be to talk to local governments?
That's what we're doing now. We've spoken to mayors of 2 different towns. We've spoken to 4 building department officials. We're trying desperately to get in with the governor's office, with the lieutenant governor, with Senator Menendez. We just want the pressure on the individual towns where we want to build the campus, because there's zoning issues. It's a multi-zone campus. You don't see things like this in a lot of places. But when you do see it, there was a lot of fight and a lot of pull to make it happen. So,
What about considering a sort of like almost a celebrity sponsor, and case in point, Dr. Phil McGraw, you know, the television host.
right.
Yeah.
There are actually we have a couple celebrities that
But no, but
that
I'm
have been
saying
connected.
he's an important one. I think he'd be a very good one. I mean, look at all he does, you know, just the average person. I think.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely a name to put down.
Do you have the money to buy the land? Because I know you said that you have people donating the construction.
material.
So you have the money to purchase the land, because land is so expensive.
Land is extremely expensive. We have, with our first gala, we were able to put a good chunk of money aside to say, because sometimes, if the land has a building on it, you can actually mortgage the land. So you don't have to have the full, if it's $1 million, you don't need the full $1 million you can purchase it with a down payment and mortgage the land, and then it's constant funding. But if it's just a piece of land and there are no buildings on it, you are not allowed to do any kind of mortgage on the land. You have to come up with the money 100% up front, and it's paid, done. You cannot mortgage empty land. It really, honestly, is about the individuals that are able to help us, getting them involved and getting them to understand what this project is, for them to say, definitely, I want to help, here's a check.
Who's going to run the school?
There will be a director of the campus, the whole campus, then there is a president of the school and a vice president, and then each component has a manager. Just the way a restaurant has a restaurant manager and then everyone's under them, there's actually a director of the campus that will oversee all of the managers that manage each component. There's a huge staff. It's over 200 members that are employed, 200 community members that will be employed to operate the campus.
I have a question before I ask it. I think it needs to be said that you deserve a lot of credit. I know you're going to do the self-deprecating. You deserve a lot of credit because, not that you're doing this, but because you're going so big. This is big.
Big.
And like you, I've looked at a lot of things around the country. And I mean, this would be up there, especially when you start talking about, well then we're going to build another one, and another one, and another one. Now all of a sudden it's like, outer space. But my question is this, most of the people in this room are from this area, I think. Are you going to start with, in other words, let's pretend it's built. It's now the door's open, you cut the ribbon, the door's open. The first 250, are you going to allow the people who live in the contiguous area to go first?
I'm going to say, the word will go out, we found a piece of land. Mm-hmm. Everyone that is registered with Philly Foundation, and we have your email, you will get first notice. Then if you come and, then there'll be a process, we're taking now applicants. Then it's up to you and how quick you get your application.
So if a person's in Ohio, and they get wind of this thing, and they send you an email, and they could potentially get in there.
Yes, but the idea is, because we were on, I'm not sure if a lot of you know, we were on Orange County Choppers, which is on CMT. Because we were on the TV show, we have hundreds of emails from across the nation. In every state, you can, I think there were 25 different states that people were emailing me, you're putting one here, is one going here, one here. Well, I hope so. And then it's just a matter of tell me where you are, we'll do the research in those areas to see where we can implement one there. I am actually heavily looking at 3 different states right now. If New Jersey isn't going, if I keep fighting, I'm not going to sit here and fight for 10 years to get one built in New Jersey. I'm sorry, but it's someone step up to the plate. The faster you do it, the faster, this is the first one. I'm really working on 3 different states right now that I know people in those states, and they're working heavy to say, where can we, who's going to say, yes, here's the land, we want to do it, here it is, let's go.
I bet Delaware is one of them.
But it's really...
Hold on, one other thing, think Hillsborough.
I know, a lot of people saying move out west, you're probably going to be able to build it better.
The town of Hillsborough is noted for being, I don't know if anybody here's from Hillsborough. There's a lady right there from Hillsborough. There's another lady from Hillsborough, noted for being very embracing of the autism, cognitively, developmentally challenged community. So,
but so is Basking Ridge.
Yeah.
They
how long have they lived here?
Basking Ridge, Warren embraces projects. Warren has no land. So it really is not just are they going to embrace it. Everyone I go to is embracing this project for different reasons, whether it's because it's green or whether it's because it's helping individuals, whether it's because just it's employing people of the community. Right. People are interested in so many different reasons. The bottom line is getting the proper land that we are able to either change the zoning or it's zoned well enough that we only have to tweak it to be able to build this campus. Some people are saying, well, can you separate the components out? No. That defeats the whole vision. The vision is to help them in an environment that makes sense, that's secure, so they can be trained in an area where they choose to be trained in. You can't separate these components up. I truly believe that one of these towns somewhere in the near future is going to see the light and say, I got it, I have the perfect land, you just need to talk to so-and-so and so-and-so, and we're definitely gonna have to go through the planning board, but it's doable, let's go. We have the fight in us. It's just, we need to go into the direction where the land is available, that it's not going to be such a fight that it's 10 years down the road. So, I know, believe me, it's very frustrating. To have companies and organizations at my back saying, okay, well, it's January, you're a project for 2014, can we go on it? No, I don't have the land. So, it's frustrating. Any more questions?
Assuming that you get the land, what's the projection of building it and having it up running?
Like I said earlier, it's very, very, very simple construction. This project, I don't know a lot about green technology, so I don't know time frame on them implementing the green technology elements, because a lot of it's underground, so I don't know what kind of time frame they need. I'm guessing it's months, because there's a lot of upfront work before even implementing the structures. But just for the above ground, this could be built in 8 months. We could, if you have a lot more people joining forces and you have a lot more construction crews on site, you could build it in 3 months. You see Extreme Home Makeover build a house in a week. So we know it's capable. We just know it'll come down to, we have the land, we have the money, and what do we want? What's our time frame? Do we want it built in a year? Then we have to make that happen. In order to make that happen, we have to pull in the right people to make it. There's always problems. Trust me. If you say it's a year-long project, it will be a year and a half. If you say it just happens. So.
If somebody wants to donate money to you right now, they can do it. You're a full 501c3,
501c3, and yes, 501c3, and all the money we're actually going to get on our website, right, Jeremy? We're going to get on our website kind of a tracking device to say this is how much money's come in, and we're going to, like a pie, graphic pie, to say what per dollar percentage or per dollar coming in goes to, because we have to spread it out. There's so many different expenses. This isn't just, we're going to have a gala and we're going to donate them and buy, like we did it for the PC, and buy a van. This is so different. Architecture fees, we need money to purchase the land, the permits. We need money to develop, social media and the website. We need money to getting, there's just a slew of areas, and we're trying to be logical and professional, but where we dedicate that money. So most of the money is being put aside for purchase of the land, because we don't know if we're going to have the funding immediately, or when it's going to. It might be, someone might say to us, we're willing to give you X amount of money, but we want some of our portion of our donation to go to the actual building of the property, or to go towards something else. We don't know. We want our name on that structure, and so we want most of the money going to that. Fine. So then we have to rethink where the money goes. So we have to, right from the start, we made a good amount of money at our first gala, so we dedicated so much toward the land, so much toward architecture fees and attorney fees. There's a lot about, copyright and, getting your logo secure. So many different things like that too. We are planning another event, another gala coming up, and we're going to be doing other fundraising things throughout. But the bottom line is, as you mentioned, that if we get the funding to build it, it is going to cost a lot of money to operate up front before it's financially self-sustaining. So we're trying to think about everything and preparing and putting different portions of money aside for different reasons. But we're going to keep our supporters updated on that they can go on the website. Hopefully in a few months we'll have that up on the website. Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you very, very, very much. Thank you, everybody. And I hope if you can please do me a favor, anyone that does have a child with special needs or an adult, if you'd like to join our family page on our website, we're trying to build the community to know. My son is up there, Jeremy's back there to introduce it, the family page. If anybody would like to see what it looks like, a picture of your son or daughter and a quick bio on their passions and their talents. We don't want diagnosis. We just want to know what's great about them. And a picture of them and a picture of the family. And then we'll put it on the family tree. If you're willing to join us on that, that would be great. Jeremy can show anyone on the computer if you'd like to see what the tree looks like. Okay, and if you have any other questions, please feel free to email me, info@philneed. But also, spread the word. And it's not just to individuals that have adults or children with special needs, but family members, neighbors. This project is to benefit everyone. It's to benefit communities, it's to benefit the environment, it's to benefit families, and it's not just, my extended family is affected by what's happened in my family. So get everybody involved, get them to know about this, get them informed about the project itself. We could use likes on Facebook. We do plan on getting into contests to win grants and money, but they're based on how many likes you and supporters you have. So if you can reach out to neighbors and family members to just say like us on Facebook, that'll be a tremendous amount of help. Okay, but otherwise, please just keep telling everybody about what we're doing. The more people that know about it, the better it is to get these built and help as many individuals as we can. Okay? Thank you.